A detector at the bottom of the sea found an extraordinary signal from the unseen universe. It came out February 19th, 2025.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So this isn't just any neutrino detection. It's, get this, the highest energy neutrino ever recorded. Oh, and by the way, the detector that caught it, it wasn't even finished yet.
Seriously, mind-blowing. It really makes you wonder what else is out there.
Totally. So before we get too deep into this discovery, let's cover some basics. We all remember, protons, neutrons, electrons, but neutrinos, they're like the ghosts of the subatomic world.
That's one way to put it. They have no electric charge, almost no mass, and they barely interact with anything. I mean, imagine a lead wall 5 light years thick. Neutrinos could pass right through it.
5 light years. Seriously, that's just, I can't even. So how do we even detect them? It seems impossible.
It's a huge challenge, but scientists are pretty ingenious. They've come up with some incredible detectors. One of them is called KM3NeT, the Cubic Kilometer Neutrino Telescope. And hold on to your hats, this thing is located at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea.
At the bottom of the sea. Now, that's just wild. Why would they put it there?
Well, it's all about cutting out the noise. The Earth's atmosphere is bombarded with all sorts of particles that would mess up the readings. So by going deep underwater, they can filter out a lot of that interference.
That makes sense. So we're talking about a giant underwater telescope searching for these rare neutrino interactions.
Exactly. KM3NeT uses these arrays of super-sensitive photodetectors. They're looking for the faintest little flash of light that happens when a neutrino, on the off chance it does, bumps into an atom in the water.
So let's talk about this incredible event. February 13th, 2023, middle of the night, one of KM3NeT's arrays, it's called ARC-A, picked up something extraordinary.
Yeah, ARC is off the coast of Sicily, and the crazy part is it was only working at 10% capacity at that time.
So imagine what it'll find when it's at 100%. Okay, break it down for me. Did ARC actually see the neutrino?
Well, not directly. It detected a high-energy muon, which was created by the neutrino interaction. So picture this. When a high-energy neutrino hits an atom, it can create other particles, and one of them is a muon. Muons are like heavier, unstable cousins of the electron. Those muons are what the detectors actually see.
So like a cosmic game of billiards, the neutrino hits, the atom recoils, and the muon goes flying off, leaving a trail for the detectors.
Perfect analogy.
And this muon, it had an off-the-charts energy reading, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. This thing had 120 peta-electron volts of energy. That's 30 times higher than any neutrino energy we've ever recorded. And from that, scientists figure the original neutrino had to have a whopping 220 peta-electron volts of energy.
220 peta-electron volts, that's, I don't even know what to say. But what does it tell us? What kind of event could create a neutrino with that much energy?
That is the question, isn't it? We're talking about some of the most extreme events in the cosmos, like gamma ray bursts. Those are insanely powerful explosions. They release more energy in seconds than our sun will in its entire lifetime. Or think about supermassive black holes, those giants at the centers of galaxies, devouring matter and spewing out ridiculous amounts of energy. And of course, there are supernovae, the dramatic deaths of massive stars, which also unleash tons of energy as they collapse.
So this tiny, practically weightless particle could be carrying a message from a dying star, a collapsing black hole, or an explosion from billions of years ago. It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it? We're tapping into these events through these, like, ghost particles. But how can scientists be sure where it came from? I mean, other cosmic events create neutrinos too, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's another source, something called cosmogenic neutrinos. These are made when cosmic rays, incredibly energetic particles that zoom through space, collide with the cosmic microwave background radiation.
Cosmic microwave background radiation, that's the afterglow of the Big Bang, right?
You got it. And when these super fast cosmic rays smash into those ancient photons, they can create neutrinos, some of them with energies like the one we're discussing.
Wow. So we've got exploding stars, black holes eating matter, and echoes of the Big Bang itself, all possibly connected to this single neutrino. It's almost too much to process. It really shows how much we still don't know about the universe.
I know, right? And get this, the article mentioned the neutrino's trajectory suggests it actually interacted with an atom in the deep sea right near the detector.
So it wasn't just passing by, it actually hit something down there. That's crazy lucky considering how rarely neutrinos interact with anything.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it? And it's that collision, that one tiny interaction, that let us even know this amazing particle existed.
It's like finding a single grain of sand that's traveled billions of years across the universe, carrying a message from some distant event. And the really exciting thing is, KM3NeT is just getting started. This was with just a fraction of its full capacity.
Exactly. And there are other projects in the works like DUNE, the Deep Underground Neutrino Experiment, which is taking a totally different approach to detecting these elusive particles.
DUNE. That sounds intriguing. Tell me more about this underground neutrino hunt.
Oh, Dune is going to be huge for neutrino research. So while KM3NeT is hanging out on the seabed, Dune is being built a mile underground in South Dakota.
Okay, so we've got the underwater telescope, and now we're going subterranean. I'm sensing a trend here. Why go so deep?
It's kind of like KM3NeT, all about shielding the detectors from interference, but instead of water, Dune will use these massive tanks filled with liquid argon.
Liquid argon. That's pretty out there. Why argon?
Well, liquid argon is super dense, so it increases the chance of a neutrino actually, interacting with an argon atom.
Ah, okay.
And if that happens, it creates a tiny flash of light, which the detectors can pick up.
Wow. So we're trying to catch these tiny flashes of light a mile underground to learn about particles that have traveled billions of light years. It's kind of poetic when you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. And Dune is massive, like seriously huge. They're going to be shooting a beam of neutrinos all the way from Fermilab, near Chicago, to the detectors in South Dakota. That's over 800 miles.
Yeah, 100 miles. That's a long way for those little neutrinos to travel. So what exactly are they hoping to learn from Dune?
Well, one of the big mysteries is neutrino mass. We know they have mass, it's just incredibly tiny, and we don't know the exact value. Dune is designed to measure that mass, like super precisely.
Why is the mass so important? I mean, it's practically nothing, right?
That's what makes it so interesting. Understanding neutrino mass could help us figure out why the universe is mostly matter and not antimatter. It's a question that has puzzled scientists for decades.
So this tiny, almost nothing particles could hold the key to understanding why we even exist. I mean, it's kind of like big things come in small packages, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why projects like KM3NeT and Dune are so important. They give us a more complete picture of how neutrinos behave. We're not just relying on light anymore. We're using these GOTS particles to look inside stars, to investigate dark matter, to learn about the early universe.
It's almost like having a sixth sense. It's letting us see the universe in a whole new way. And the crazy thing is, we're just at the beginning.
Right. Imagine what we'll find when KM3NeT is fully operational and working alongside Dune and other neutrino observatories. The possibilities are endless.
It's mind-blowing. If a single neutrino can have that much energy and travel billions of light years, what else is out there that we haven't even thought of yet?
It is humbling, isn't it? The universe is vast and full of mysteries, and neutrinos are proving to be an incredible tool to help us understand it all. This record-breaking detection is just a small taste of what's to come.
This deep dive has definitely made me think, and it's sparked my curiosity about neutrinos even more. What other applications might there be for these particles in the future? I mean, we've talked about astrophysics and cosmology, but are there other fields where they could be useful? It seems like we've only just scratched the surface. It's amazing to think these tiny particles could have such a huge impact on, well, everything.
It is pretty remarkable. And, besides astrophysics and cosmology, there's a lot of buzz about using neutrinos in other areas, like geology, for instance.
Geology, now that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that connection. How could neutrinos be used to study rocks?
Well, because neutrinos can go through almost anything, right? So they could be used to create like an X-ray of the Earth's interior.
Ah, I see what you mean.
We could map the Earth's core, the mantle, the crust in amazing detail. It could help us understand things like plate tectonics, volcanoes, even how mineral deposits form.
Wow, it's like having X-ray vision for the Earth itself. Are there any other potential uses?
Definitely. Another area where neutrinos could be a game changer is in nuclear nonproliferation. Since they're produced in nuclear reactions, you could use detectors to monitor nuclear facilities, from a distance.
So they'd be like these tiny, invisible watchdogs, making sure everyone's playing by the rules. It's amazing how these particles could have such a big impact.
It really is. And we're only just beginning to understand what's possible as we learn more about neutrinos and our detection methods get better. Who knows what other applications we'll discover?
This whole deep dive has been eye-opening. We started with a single neutrino detected at the bottom of the sea, and now we're talking about mapping the Earth's insides and keeping tabs on nuclear facilities. It really shows that the tiniest things can have the biggest impact.
Couldn't agree more. It really highlights how all of science is connected. Discoveries in one area can unlock amazing breakthroughs in others. That's what makes it so exciting. You never know what you're going to find.
Well said. So to all our listeners, keep an eye on the world of neutrinos. These tiny particles are revealing the universe's secrets, and they have the potential to change our world in ways we can't even imagine yet.
And if you have any thoughts or questions about this deep dive, we'd love to hear them. Share your insights, your theories, anything you're thinking about. Let's keep the conversation going.
Until next time, keep diving deep and never stop exploring the wonders of the universe.